Somebody say amen.
Amen.
Yeah, you're going to be leaving out here on fire. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Okay, let's read this together. When all three of Noah's sons are mentioned together in the scriptures, Shem is usually first, Ham is always second, and Japheth is usually last. Isn't that true? Yeah, that was so easy to remember their names, right? Okay, let's find out. We already read Genesis 5:32. What does it say in Genesis 6:10? And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Oh, okay, here we go. Shem is there first. He's leading the pack, right? Somebody say amen. Amen. Is everybody awake? Say amen. Amen. All right. Genesis 7:13. Let's read this together. In the self-same day entered Noah and Shem and Ham and Japheth, the sons of Noah and Noah's wife, and the 3 wise sons with them into the ark. Is Shem's name mentioned again? Yeah, yeah. All right. Genesis 9:18. Let's read this. And the sons of Noah that went forth out of the ark. Oh, wait a minute. Went forth. I missed the word. Were who? Shem and Ham and Japheth, and Ham is the father of who? Canaan. You've got to remember that. If I asked you how to spell Ham's name, what would you say? C-H-A-M. Very good. Genesis what? 10:1. Let's read this loud and clear, students. Here we go. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood. Whose name is first again? Shem. That is so interesting. Okay, let's go to 1 Chronicles. We're getting out of Genesis. Somebody said we're getting out of Genesis. Okay, now we're going to look at 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verse 4. Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Oh, look at this list. Look at this. Who do we have first?
Noah.
Noah. Who's second? Shem. Who's third? Ham. Ham, and who's fourth? There's the order again. Somebody say that's real interesting.
That's real interesting.
Say that's real interesting.
That's real interesting.
Yeah, somebody said, Okay, watch this. Who we getting ready to talk about? Shem. See his name on the right? Who we getting ready to talk about? Shem. Okay, where are we? Genesis chapter what? 10. What verse?
21.
Okay, it says, unto who?
Shem.
Also, the father. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, you better pen that. You better pen that. You better pen that. Shem. This, they're calling Shem the father of. Ooh, the father of. Listen, we need to know, you need to know who you're connected to. Okay. Unto Shem also the father of all. All. Did it say all? Did it say some? All the children of who? Eber. Eber is, it's spelled E-B-E-R, but it's really Aber. Aber. Unto Shem also the father of some of the children of Aber. All. Now look what it says. The brother of, look how it's spelled in English, Japheth. You see where it says the elder? Okay. You've got to write that down. Because that's tricky right there. That is very tricky. The brother of Japheth the elder. Even to him were children born. Who is the father of all the children of Aber? Who is that? Shem. Okay. I need someone to read who is Aber. Read it aloud. You may commence. Yes.
Aber. Aber is an alternative word for the earliest cultural Hebrews.
There you go. So whenever you see E-B-E-R, it was the earliest who? Cultural Hebrews. So Shem is connected to who? The Hebrews. connected to who? The Israelites. He's connected to the Hebrews. All right. Good. Is he also connected to Yahusha?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Okay. You have to know this. Anyone, and let me, can I say this? All the schools are meshing together right now. School of prophets, school of marriage, school of Hebrew language. All of them are coming together.
What about this verse that I was reading here in Genesis 10 verse 25?
What does it say?
It says, to Eber were born 2 sons.
Not yet. I'm not there yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not there yet. Because you're right. I'm glad you mentioned it, but I'm not there yet. That's ahead of me. I got to piecemeal this. I got to get this out just the way, little by little, so there'll be complete understanding. Okay? And Aber is an alternative word for the earliest cultural Hebrews. Yeah. All right? Are we good? Okay. Let me ask you this question. Who is the eldest son of Noah? Shem or Japheth? If you think it's Shem, raise your hand. If you think it's Japheth, raise your hand. If you don't know, raise your hand. You're unsure, raise your hand. If you're hungry, raise your hand. If your feet hurt, raise your hand.
I say yes.
You say yes. Okay, then Shem.
Yes.
Here's the controversy. Now, if anybody has their computer, laptop, or whatever, phone, here's the controversy about who's older. In the English translations, NIV, somebody go to Genesis 10:21 in NIV. NIV. If you have your phone, if you got NIV, I want you to read that aloud. Genesis 10:21. I should have it written there. But it should say that Shem was Japheth's older brother. Who has Genesis 10:21 in NIV? When you have it, speak that verse out loud. Genesis 10:21. NIV.
Sons were also born to Shem, whose older brother was Japheth. Shem was an ancestor of all the sons of Eber.
Very good. Who, Mr. Carey, who in Genesis 10:21 in NIV, who is depicted as the older brother?
Shem. No, Japheth.
Right, right.
His older brother
He's
was
depicted in 10:21, but in NIV, right?
Yes.
That's an English translation. Is that a transliteration? It's an English translation, right? Okay. Now, Japheth was the older brother. I need someone to go to the New Living Translation of Genesis 10:21 and read that. Now you're gonna hear something totally different.
And children were born also to Shem, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder.
Now is that in the New Living Translation? I need a New Living Translation. If anyone has it, please read out a New Living Translation.
Sons were also born to Shem, the older brother of Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the descendants of Eber.
All right, now Minister Carey, in New Living Translation, who's the older brother now? Shem. Is that confusing?
Yes.
So, all right. So in NIV, Japheth is the older brother, but in New Living Translation, who's the older brother? Shem. Okay. Watch this. In the we're gonna go to in the King James Version, and New King James Version, both say what? Shem was the brother of Japheth the elder. What they're saying is that Shem was the elder, because the elder here speaks of Shem. The King James Version and New King James Version both say Shem was the brother of Japheth the elder. So they're saying that Shem was the elder. Is this confusion? Is this confusion? Is this confusion? Yes. Okay. Let's read this aloud up at the top. What does it say? The scriptures teach, and both the Greek Septuagint and Hebrew Masoretic. Now write that down. Those are really important. Especially if the father is working with you in the office of a teacher or to teach. They both teach that Shem was the second born of Noah. When Noah was 502 years, Anna, they believe that Shem was born when Noah was 502 years old, but Japheth was born when Noah was 500 because it says he begat sons. They computed all of these numerical values of when they had children. Can we answer this? Can I just say this? Sometimes when you're teaching, you're going to have to ask yourself this question. And this is the question. May we set aside the controversy regarding which sibling is older for the sake of maintaining consistency in the study of ancestry. Can we do that? Why am I telling you that? Because sometimes in ministry, don't delve into controversial issues. Especially if the Father is saying, at this time, don't address it. Because you will pull yourself from what the Father really wants you to explain within the body. Do you understand?
Yes.
Someone say yes.
Yes.
Amen. Someone tell me something that they learned. Quick, come on. Your minds are alert today. The Father is teaching you. Those brains are activating. Your inner man is on fire. What did you learn today? I'm talking to all those that the Father will raise up, apostolically, prophetically, as evangelists, pastors, and teachers. You've got to know what He is saying in this word to you directly. Doesn't mean that everyone has to give an answer, but what did you learn thus far in one sentence? Dre.
Noah was 500 when he had his first kid.
Noah was 500 when he first had his children. He got his children. Ingrid.
We cannot be ashamed of the name of Yahuwah.
We cannot be ashamed of the name Yahuwah. Yes, very good. Both. Yes.
When you
Act.
acknowledge, you are rejected.
That's right. When we reject knowledge, our children are rejected. What else did you learn today?
You're wrong, you're lying.
Yes. Excellent. All these answers are excellent. Yes. Yes. We are part of the royal line. Dale. Yes. Anyone else?
We cannot make excuses.
We could, right. We cannot make excuses. Is he going to take our excuses at the throne room? No. No excuses. What else? Did David make excuses? No, he couldn't. David sinned and he rejected, he formally repented. What else did you learn today?
You need to speak. Everywhere you need to make a difference. You speak that like openly about Yahuwah. You don't really hide your mind. You don't be intimidated to anybody.
Absolutely. That's right, and you know that's a good word, intimidation and fear. That's what the enemy uses to shut your mouth,
Exactly.
so that we begin to compromise. We cannot afford to do that. No.
You have to tell you what it is.
You have to say, absolutely, that's just what His commandments, period. Obey the Shabbat. Those are His commandments, period.
Exactly.
Amen?
And that's
Yes,
exactly,
Pedro.
that's exactly that, and I was so surprised when you cited the Hosea 4, verse 6 and 7, and this always remind when I'm doing Bible study, when I'm doing like the study with other people,
Yes.
when I go out to preach, and I always tell them that this is my favorite verses.
Absolutely.
Hosea 4, verse 6 and 7,
That's
because knowledge, if you don't know really the knowledge of God, you keep the Yahuwah. And like my wife, I have to say that you said something very strong. My wife, we started talking about that last month or 2 months ago, about the name of God. And it's amazing. Because you might be in church for years, going entertaining. You entertain yourself. But you don't know really. No, seriously. You don't know really how to worship God. Yahuwah.
Yes.
You don't know him because even now, and I said, sometimes I talk to people, say, where you get this name from, man? Where you get? I said, listen, man, because you need to learn about it, and I'm willing to teach you. But do not be too harsh on people.
That's
No,
right.
right, you cannot be
That's
harsh.
right.
You have to, because
Be soft.
you have to be soft and very,
Right.
very calm, very,
Absolutely.
very, because if you're not patient, because myself, it takes me time, even for myself to adjust myself, to get to really embrace the real information.
Now let me say this. We have to look at the matrix that we're in right now. If this matrix was different, and we had those who are just coming out of a church and have come in here for the first time, they would not be getting this teaching. And they would not getting the sharpness like they're getting because of the matrix that we're in. Listen, when Yahusha spoke to the religious leaders, he was sharp. He was sharp. So was Dukanon, the immerser. As a matter of fact, he called them brood of vipers. All right? So it depends on the audience that the Father is speaking to at that particular time. You're absolutely correct. The way the Father is moving in this house now would not be the same way he would move in another matrix. Because even Yahusha said, I have come for the lost sheep of Israel. So he knew his audience. Amen? Amen. Good point. Shalom. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Genesis 9:26. Who was blessed of Yahuwah? Shem. Blessed be Yahuwah, the Elohim of Shem. Blessed be Yahuwah, the Elohim of Shem. What did Noah know about Shem? What did Noah know about Shem? Based on what you're just reading.
Was he chosen?
Yes, he was set apart. Shem was set apart. Good, Tara. No doubt that there was something remarkable about Shem. Shem, who was a what? A patriarch of the Hebrews. How do you know that? Because we use what word? Aber. Ah. Shem, a patriarch of the Hebrews, would divinely embrace the rulership of who? Yahuwah. Who was the first Melchizedek? Shem. Who was the first Melchizedek? Shem. I'm going to say it again. We learned this. Who was the first Melchizedek? Shem. Rule. Go to 1 Chronicles 10:14. Go in your scriptures. Go to 1 Chronicles 10:14. I need to explain to you what rule means. You will, what rule means. Amen. I need to explain to you what rule means. You have two pictographs in rule. You have a thorn and you have a man's head. You have a thorn and a man's head in rule. Where there's a thorn and a man's head, the thorn means turning. The thorn means, okay, everybody, just turn your head. Go from the right, turn it right, now go left. Okay, one more time. Go to the right, turn your head to the right, now turn your head to the left. Okay. When there's a rule, that means it's the turning of a man's head. How many of you know your head was turned when you received Jesus? Come on, somebody help me. Come on, come on, come on, come on. And you got that phone call right after you're born again. Oh, baby, I need to see you. What did you think? Well, your head was turned. It was turned in which direction? Toward who? Yahuwah. Okay. So you have a thorn. Thorn means a turning. And you also have a man's head. So the rule means the turning of the head to another direction. Rule. The turning of the head to another what? Direction. So the one who rules turns the people to his what? Direction. Okay. Now, go to 1 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 14. I want you to look at something the Father did in regard to David. Oh, David. Oh, that David. Oh, wow. 1 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 14. It should explain there how the Father slew Saul because he didn't inquire of the Father. All right, that's how it should begin. I need a reader for 1 Chronicles chapter 10, verse 14. You are in school today. So I'll tell you where you are. You're in school.
Amen.
Amen.
Verse is 13 that starts it.
Yeah. What's it saying, verse 13?
It says, thus Saul died for his trespasses.
Okay, there we go. Verse 13. Thank you, daughter. 1 Chronicles 10, 13, and 14. We're going to start at 13. Okay. Now, Bren, start reading 1 Chronicles 10, 13.
Okay. Thus Saul died for his trespass, which he had trespassed against Yahuwah, because he did not guard the word of Yahuwah, and also for asking a medium for to make inquiry.
Read verse 14. Now, watch this. Okay, what did Saul do that got him in trouble? He didn't inquire of Yahuwah.
He went to that medium.
He went to a medium.
And he didn't guard the word.
He didn't guard. If he didn't guard word, what was he doing with it? Trampling it underfoot. Okay, like it was what? Garbage. Get that visual. Verse 14, read it please, Bren.
And did not inquire of Yahuwah. So he put him to death and turned the reign over to Dawid.
Wait a minute, stop it. He did what? Turned. Turned the reign over to who?
Dawid, David.
David. The son of who? Jesse. Okay. When the Father turned the kingdom over to David, everybody look straight. Look straight. Look at the screen. And you're going to turn your head to the right because now David is in rulership. David is in rulership. Turn your head. Father does. How do you know a person is under the rulership of Yahuwah? Because their head is turned in his direction. If our head is turned in the direction of the enemy, now, let's get it straight. Which direction should a man's head be turned? In the direction of who? Yahuwah. Let's find out who the youngest son is. Many people will say it is Ham because he is mentioned second, but it is not. In Genesis 9:22, let's read from the top together. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his two brethren without. Genesis 9:24. And Noah woke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. Who's youngest? Ham was the youngest of Noah's three sons. But then you ask, well, why do we have that order? We've already talked about Genesis 10:21. Abram, the brother. We talked about this controversy. Look at the birth order of Noah's three sons. Some say it's Shem, Japheth, and Ham. And some say it's Japheth, Shem, and Ham. But this is the question. As leaders in kingdom, you have to understand why certain children's names are mentioned first. Why is Shem always mentioned first? Regardless of whether or not he's the oldest son or not. Read this with me together. What does it say? Scripture often lists children in the order of their importance instead of their birth order. You have to understand that. Children are often listed in Scripture in the order of their importance instead of their birth order, and may even do what? Omit the names of offspring to the scriptural narratives and or chronological accounts. For example, read it with me. Ishmael was 14 years older than who? Isaac. But Isaac was named first in 1 Chronicles 1:28. And what does it say? The sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael. Why was Isaac named first?
Because he was
Not
the
because
promise.
He had more prominence.
Yeah.
One was the child of the promise. The other was birthed what? Was birthed how? Please don't take pictures.
Out of doubt.
As a bondservant.
Yes.
She was a bondservant. But he was the one of what? Promise. So the covenant would be attached to who?
The promise.
The promise. Very good. Amen, elder. So, and Moni. So the reason Shem is usually listed first is why? It's because he was more important as the what? Progenitor. What is a progenitor? That name you should have in your vocabulary. What we should all have it, including myself. What is a progenitor?
Like the first.
The lineage, the father, progenitor. He was beginning that particular line, right? As a progenitor of the set apart lineage of who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the entire nation of what? Yashrael. Amen? Okay, I want you to do something for me. I'm going to hand this out. And I want you to write down, listen, everybody in here, somebody in your family has told you something about your background or your lineage, have they not?
Yes.
Okay? Some might say, well, you know, I'm Jamaican. I say that all the time. Amen? But what you're going to do is, you're going to write down everybody that's in your, like, you might say, well, my mother says our family came from England. Or my family was from South Africa. You're going to write down everything you know thus far about your lineage. If you're from Bermuda, Barbados, Indian, Scottish, just take a moment and write down. Okay? I just ran out. I don't have any more.
I have one extra here.
Okay? Take your time. Take really
So that's
fast.
good.
Don't rush through it. Write them down on each line, or whatever way you choose. And you know what? Not just from your father's side, your mother and your father. Okay? Mother and your father. Let's do mother and father. So you're writing down your ethnicity or your ethnicities. If you take a look at the screen, you can keep on writing. Genesis 10 is the origin of nations that can be traced back to Noah. So in order for us to know who you may be connected to, this is your assignment is to write down your ethnicity or your ethnicities. And ethnicity means cultural factors, nationality, ancestry, and even language. An example of ethnicity is German, Spanish, Indian, Chinese, and etc. Amen? If you're almost done, raise your hand. Almost done? Almost done? Okay. You're almost done? Take a moment. Think about those conversations you've had. old photos you've looked at, or even what you may suspect. And I'd like to hear some of your answers, if you don't mind. Who would like to divulge? Bren?
Yeah. What I know about my family is, African, Ethiopia, Jewish, Indian, Caucasian, and Mediterranean.
Anyone else? Dale?
My great grandfather was pure Cherokee,
Pure Cherokee?
and, my mother's side is African American.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? Yes. Kara?
And I know Irish, some East Indian, African, and, some English.
And English. All right. You said
That's a language.
East, what did you say, East Indian?
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Carey?
Bahamian, Cuban, Chinese, Nigerian, and American.
All right. All right. Anyone else? Wow. Anyone else?
Yeah.
Ingrid?
My parents are Jamaican, also background is Nigeria.
Jamaican, Nigeria.
My great-great-grandfather was a slave owner, who married a black woman who was disowned by his father.
Oh, he was a who? A slave owner who married a black woman.
Son married a black woman who was disowned by his father.
Oh, wow. Anyone else? Wow. Anyone else?
Yeah, on my,
Millie?
my dad's side, Scottish, Chinese, my mother's part Jamaican.
Scottish and Chinese and Jamaican. Anyone else? May. Yeah, Ash?
My mother's side Irish,
Speak a little bit louder.
my mother's side Irish and Indian, my father's side Indian.
Indian and German. May. Anyone else? All right.
I am
Yes.
Haitian, African, Spanish, Poland, Germany, Jewish, Indian.
All right. Dre?
Caucasian, my great-great-granddad was Caucasian, I told the slave owner. My dad, Afro, his great-granddad, great-great-granddad is Afro, my mom from America.
The question is, are you a Shemite? Are you a Yaphethite? Are you a Hamite?
Might be a Hamite.
Let's find out. We're not gonna find out totally today. Will you be able to identify whether or not you are a descendant of Shem, of Japheth, or of Ham? Or are you a mixture of all three? In Genesis chapter 10 lists a total of 70 original founders of the nations of the world. So out of those 3 sons, there were 70 original founders of the nations of the world. Nations are divided into 3 primary classifications. So a person is either of Shem, Ham, or Japheth. That's just how it is. Or they could be a mixture of all 3, or just 2. Now that this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah. So the genealogy of the sons of Noah are who? Shem, help me out. Who else? Ham, who else? Japheth. And the sons were born to them after what?
The flood.
Okay, so we've determined that. Here are the sons of Japheth. How many sons does he have? 7. That's found in Genesis 10 and 2. So he has 7 sons. Watch this. You just have to write down that he has 7 sons. You can go back to it later. That's in Genesis 10 and 2. I want you to see something. By these the coasts of now watch this. Let me go back. He has 7 sons. Let's just say their names, why don't we? Okay, who was the first son? Who's the next one? Who's the next one? Madai, find out something about those sons, but I can't do all 7. That would take up too much time. So I'm going to focus only on Gomer. By these, it says that Gomer's people were of the Gentiles, and they were divided in their lands, everyone according to his own what? Tongue, after his families and their nations. So Japheth and his offspring were all what? Gentiles. Okay. Where did they go? Under the word Gomer, this is where they went. This is who they represent. That's only the first son. He has 7. So, they represent who? Let's read it. Celts, Greeks, Scandinavians, Franks, Armenians, Germans, Belgians, Dutch, Austrians, Swiss, Saxons, English, Irish, Welsh, and French. If you mention any of those today, then you're connected to Gomer. The Germans, from which the majority of Western Europe nations, such as the French, Spanish, and the Celtic people are descended, are said to have started from who? Gomer. Nations that descended from Gomer are European nations. So all of the, those that are of European descent, it's a high probability they're from which son? Japheth, but also connected to who? Gomer. Are they Gentiles? Yes. But look at Genesis 10 and 3. Let's see who else is connected to Gomer. Who are the sons of Gomer? Now this is going to get quite interesting in a moment. Go to Genesis 10 and 3 in your Bible. Genesis 10 and 3 in your Bible. And we have this, let's frame it one more. Genesis 10 and 3 in your Bible. Gomer had a very interesting son. His name is Ashkenaz. Genesis 10 and 3. The sons of Gomer. Where do we say Gomer was from? European nations, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have here in Genesis 10 and 3, it says it right in the scripture where Ashkenazis are from. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah. Whenever you hear Ashkenaz, who is that associated with? Ashkenazi Jews. But what word is in Ashkenazi? Nazi. That was really interesting to me when I saw that. I said, Father, the word Nazi is in there. Okay. Gomer is associated with who? The Gentiles, and a descendant and patriarch of which Jews? Those that call themselves what? Ashkenazi Jews. Okay, do we understand? So every Ashkenazi Jew that you see that looks like that, they call themselves, listen, can I say something? Our own father never called anyone Jews. We were what? Of Yisrael. But they call themselves Jews, Ashkenazi Jews, but the word Nazi is in there. So they are Japhethites. They're from Gomer and Ashkenaz. We've got to establish that today. How many of you have ever seen Jewish people look like that? Did they come out of Shem? Did they come out of Shem? No, they did not. They came out of who? Gomer. And Gomer was connected to who? Did not the Father already tell us who is connected to who? It's in his word in the book of Genesis. We are going to get more. We're going to have to go through the different nations. But you're going to find out some really astounding things. Just raise your hands and close your books. Glory. It is a history lesson. Amen? I don't have to have anybody tell me that Ashkenazi were not the original people. Who has already told us that? Yahuwah himself. Let us stand, take a hand, and we're gonna pray. I'm gonna ask you this question. Oh, can we turn that recorder off for a minute? I need to say something. We turn the, Shalom.